Our United Way Spotlight of the Week is on peer support in youth mental health, and I'm joined by Tara Everitt from Resolve Counselling and Shawn Quigley from Youth Diversion. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah. So this is something new, Tara. So my peer support means it's somebody who has been there, done that. I understand what you're going through. Is that pretty much what peer support is?
Yeah, peer support is a person with lived experience of whether it be mental health or other challenges such as homelessness or addiction. And it's somebody who's on the path to recovery and wellness, and they want to reach out and really help other young people who are going through similar situations to, provide a hope and support to those young people.
So, Shawn, how do they get together? Are they just phone calls, or do they see each other in person? How does that work?
So, great question. As we continue to explore the peer support worker model, those are questions that we are unpacking right now, those policies and procedure pieces. But from a perspective of success, you probably would like to have a peer support mentor reaching out to the folks that they're supporting at least once or twice a week, upwards to 2 to 3 hours a week, to be able to develop those relationships, build those relationships, and have a better understanding of what the client is experiencing to support their efforts to get better.
So. This is a big time commitment. Tara, I'll come back to you. It's a big time commitment on behalf of the mentor. So they must get something out of it as well. What do you anticipate will be the payoff for them?
Off the top of my head, I would say right away, it's just that ability to give back to the community. Most folks that would probably look at the peer support model as something they would want to do are folks that, as Tara have said, they're on the road to recovery. They are doing better, and so their reward ultimately is being able to get other people on that same journey with them, and help guide them and provide them with the support. With some of that experience, that lived experience that maybe the people that they are mentoring haven't quite got there yet. So preparing them for things like that. We also recognize with this model that this isn't something we should be asking people to do for free. It's a very intense position, but it's a very rewarding and valuable experience. And at the same time, this is where the United Way is so helpful with their commitment to be able to ensure that folks involved in this initiative will receive some kind of a payment for the work that they're doing.
That's really great. Go ahead, Tara.
Yeah, sorry. I was just going to add to that as the United Way and community service providers have been working, and young people themselves have been working on this project since before the pandemic. So it's a couple of years in the making, and just recently the funding has come through thanks to the United Way and some really amazing donors. And so we've just been able to hire the youth peer facilitator, who will be a full-time position, who will help lead this project further. So they will be doing further research, doing some more community consultations with young people and with service providers themselves, and really developing a model that works for our community. So it is really important to acknowledge that young people will be really trained in a peer support model. So I think the idea will be to provide that training to as many young people as possible. And so that we're building capacity within young people themselves to help support, whether they're doing it informally or they're doing it through this program. By providing as much training as possible will help build that capacity. And then from there, with the beginning of the pilot, we would look at recruiting 8 to 10 young people that will be paid through this project. And they will then be paid staff to support other young people in the community.
It's really a terrific idea. Shawn, go back to you. So matching them up, do you match them by age, by gender, by socioeconomic status, by in school, employed, not employed? What sort of criteria are you looking at?
So great question again. I think the first thing we need to identify is the age that we're looking at. So it's 16 to 24 would be the target population to refer to this program. And then the mentors or the peer support mentors themselves are over the age of 18, sort of 18 to 25. We're still working that piece out. The only thing that we've discussed that we can all come to an agreement on is when it comes to a crisis, this is not something that we see the peer support model supporting. But everything else, it's when it comes to matching people together, we're looking at best practices. We're looking at how other models do that in other jurisdictions. The folks sitting around the table are looking to some of the other agencies that are already doing mentoring, but not to this degree, to find out what that secret sauce is to matching mentors with the mentees. But you're right, we want to look at age, we want to look at compatibility, we want to look at those commonalities between the peer mentor and the client to make sure that we put all the mechanisms in place for success. So that the two can then be matched as effectively as possible.
Tara, just thinking that this idea that someone between 16 and 24 has mental health issues, and I don't remember this when I was growing up. Was it that it wasn't there? It was there and we just didn't know it. It was there, but we called it something else. What up through the ages? How has this been handled?
Well, I think that's a really good point, because there's always been mental health regardless of age in children and young people. I think with the work that we're doing around reducing stigma around mental health has really provided and acknowledged that young people are experiencing very different. I think that we've always experienced very different situations and issues throughout our lives, no matter what age, whether it's when you were a child or myself. But we didn't label it back then, and we struggled, and so I think we're acknowledging it. We're better at acknowledging it. We're better offering support these days, and we want young people to know that they're not alone. Young people in this community, well, everywhere, young people are amazing, and they want to give back. They have so much to offer, and we really want to acknowledge that that in our young people, that and help support them to build that hope. Whenever possible. And I think this program is one. It's youth supporting youth. And, sometimes young people don't want to talk to, maybe somebody my age or your age, or they don't feel that connection.
At the best of times, never mind over something like this.
Yes. So hopefully with this program, it builds that connection, and the hope would be to those youth peers, we'll be able to connect them to other services as well, whether that be mental health services, counseling supports, or whatever. So we're really excited about this project, and really hoping to help support young people with whatever they're going through.
Okay, now Shawn, when somebody comes to you, how do they come to you? Are they referred by someone? Can they self-refer? Can a parent refer them? How does that work?
For the length of the pilot, we're looking at specific agencies that can refer to the program, so that it can be better managed, at least for the first year. Collect the data that we need, do the evaluation so that we can determine the success of the program, and then open it up wider in years to come. But within the pilot right now, we've identified up to 4 different agencies that we believe are the appropriate agencies to be making the referrals to the peer support model. As for the peer support workers themselves, people who are interested, who have lived experience, that want to give back, that want to be part of the training, they can reach out to us, and we can put them on a list for that training. And then, as Tara said earlier, we'll choose about 8 of those folks to be part of the model. But for the time being, we're trying to keep it contained. So because we do recognize that if it's opened up to the community, this is going to be huge. So for the pilot phase, anyways, we've limited the amount of referral sources that could send kids to this program.
And Tara, I understand the United Way. You mentioned it before, but they're funding this. They're making it possible for you to pay the mentors. Is that true?
Yes, that is exactly true. So, I really want to acknowledge that the United Way has supported this project and initiative, both by being the leaders in getting the community around the table to have these conversations and as part of their work on youth homelessness. But in addition to that, they're funding 100% of the project.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us today. Another good reason to support the United Way. Thanks so much.
Thank you for this opportunity.